Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I wanted to share with you some photos and videos I took on a recent holiday to South Korea, where I spent about 8 days visiting the cities of Jeju and Seoul. Now, this was primarily a family trip to spend some quality time together, so I tried to minimize the camera gear and just really enjoy the moment. Now, to do so, I actually brought my film camera, and one of the main reasons why I enjoy shooting with film, especially when I'm on holiday with my family, is because it just really forces me to enjoy the moment so I don't get caught up in reviewing the photos or editing during my trip. Now, I brought with me one main camera, which was the Leica MP, and I brought 3 lenses with me. I'm still trying to figure out which sort of lens combination works best for me, so I brought with me the Voigtlander 21mm 1.8. I also recently reacquired the 50mm Sumilux. This is the version 1, as well as the 90mm Summicron version 1. Now, some of you guys will know from a previous video that I actually used to own the Leica Sumilux 50mm, and that lens actually came with the white Leica M10P. But as I sold that camera for the Leica M10R, I actually sold the 50mm Sumilux that came with it as well. So I do actually own several versions of different 50mm, but I realized that I really miss the colors and the magic from the Sumilux version 1. There's something very special about the colors and how everything in the photo just melts when that lens is used. So I actually really miss that lens, and so I recently reacquired it. And actually for this trip, most of the photos were taken with the 50mm. Most of the film stock were either Fujifilm or Kodak Gold, and as well as Ilford HP5. And besides these 3 lenses, I also brought along the Fuji X100F, the DJI Pocket 2, as well as the DJI drone to take some B-roll. Now, do take in mind that the Leica MP camera doesn't actually have the frame lines for 21mm, so when I was actually using it for wide angle, I did have to attach this Leica attachment so that I could frame my photos properly. The first part of our trip, we visited this place called Shanubong. Now again, please forgive me, I believe I'm absolutely butchering these Korean names. And this place is famous for its sunrise, which was at about 5 a.m. in the morning. You can park your car nearby, and there's a comfortable hike up to the peak, which takes only around 30 minutes to 45 minutes depending on your fitness. Now, the great thing about this hike is that if you go before 7 a.m., it's actually free because the ticket office isn't open yet. We thought that we may get lost easily, but turns out it's a really simple hike. You follow some staircases to the top, and actually by 5 a.m. there's actually a lot of tourists who are there and making their way up to the top already in preparation for sunrise, so you definitely won't get lost. Surprisingly though, we actually weren't that blown away by the view at the top, and so my girlfriend and I, we actually decided to hike back down, and we saw this spot which was a bit further from the ticket office where you actually hike down, and we felt that actually that the sunrise from that place was actually prettier, mainly because you could get a lot of foreground from the rocks as well as the sea, whereas if you were to view it from the viewpoint at the top, you would just see the horizon. One thing quite enjoyable nearby is that there are lots of colorful and small food shops, which makes great photo opportunities with the soft light in the morning, and it's very colorful, and it's just a great place to have breakfast. Now, we drove on further in the day, and you get a very good mix of scenery in Jeju, and our next stop was the Daejeong Jusang Joli cliffs. These cliffs are actually stone pillar formations that were formed by lava thousands and millions of years ago as they flowed out from the crater, and as it came into contact with the water, it cooled rapidly and formed these very characteristic polygonal staircase-like formations, and these stones are 30 to 40 meters high, hexagonal in shape, and it's quite an amazing scene to see the waves sort of constantly crashing onto the rocks, and it's definitely something not to be missed. Now, what impressed us a lot about Jeju wasn't just the natural scenery, but also the man-made attractions. So, one of the main reasons why we decided to go to Jeju in April was because it was cherry blossom season. And the most amazing and beautiful part about Jeju is that you don't even have to go to the specific attractions or the gardens. You actually find these cherry blossoms lined everywhere across the road, and it's absolutely breathtaking to be amongst the sea of cherry blossoms. And photos really don't do it justice. We also had the opportunity to drive past many of these canola fields, which is this yellow flower. And in some of the fields, especially the bigger ones, you may have to pay a small price, but it's just like $1 to go in. And I really enjoyed shooting photos here and using the 50mm lens. And the Sumilex absolutely melts the background, and the color and the bokeh you get from this lens is absolutely vibrant, it's sharp, and it's very charismatic. So I was really happy to reacquire this lens. Now, one of my girlfriend's favorite food is bread, and so visiting bakeries is an essential on some of our trips. And so we dropped by this bakery called Seoul, and it's located in this old abandoned hotel, which was actually refurbished into this beautiful bakery. Now, the most amazing part of this cafe was actually the views of the grass and the windmills in the background, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to fly the drone. And as I was flying the drone, I actually noticed nearby there was a farm, and they had some horses and some llamas, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to check it out. And it turns out that it was this petting zoo next door where you can pay a small fee and you can go feed the animals. And being in such close proximity to the animals allowed me to get some very, very good photos, and it was just a great, relaxing time to engage with the animals. Now, as you drive along Jeju, you'll find different sceneries, and this includes the beach scene, and we also had the opportunity to go out to sea, which is beautiful. And however, one of the places which I would highly recommend is, as a day trip, it's called Jeju Island. Now, Jeju Island is a small island that's just about a 20-minute boat ride from Jeju. And most tourists actually get around the island on these electric bikes, and there's lots of good food and cafes and scenic spots around the island. And what's special about this place is that you'll find some very, very fresh seafood because they are famous here for their honyo, which is their woman divers. And So after visiting Jeju Island, we spent about 2 nights in Seoul, and one of the highlights for me was a day trip to visit the DMZ, which stands for the Demilitarized Zone between North and South Korea. And it was a very great and humbling experience to learn more about the tragic history between why this country is split into two. And you can actually look directly into North Korea, which is about as close as I think I'll ever probably get to North Korea in my life. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity to shoot in black and white. And also around Seoul, there are lots of famous sort of bookstores and cafes, as well as lots of opportunities for street photography as well. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm very happy with how the photos turned out. It really turned out to be the right decision for me to reacquire this 50mm Summilux again. Having shot with these three lenses, I actually realized the 50mm was actually attached onto my camera about 90% of the time. So one thing I'm going to try on the next trip is maybe just try a 2-lens travel combination with the 35 and the 75 and see how that turns out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do let me know if you have any recommendations, if you've been to Jeju or Seoul, and do let me know your comments or any questions you may have down in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for another 3 Amigos video. Until next time.